Yeah, I mean, of course they will be more integrated into the TeliaSonera family and the TeliaSonera system, which means that they will have a faster access to the development resources and the R&D and the purchases that we do in the group. And that in its turn should mean then that they get an increased possibility of launching services earlier and also to a lower production cost than otherwise, because of course there is a lot of customers that can share the cost in the TeliaSonera group, and you can't really do that if you don't are the sole owner, because then if you have a plan to purchase later on, you sort of have to pay for it twice. When we do our agreement with the vendors, whoever they are, we always do it on a group base, and that means that it includes volumes from all markets. Then of course you have a heritage to take care of course, but as soon as you go into new things and new purchasing rounds, then you have this effect. I mean, you have to have the license, of course, and the frequencies, but besides of that, what we are doing now is that we are purchasing and investing in a global core network for 4G, for example, which then is a full IP-based core network, which is cross-border, which is something totally new. And of course, this decreases the cost compared to if you have to invest in a core network in each market. And now we do that for the countries that do have 4G for the time, which is Sweden, Finland and Norway, but the agreement as such is expandable and aimed to include all the markets where we go for 4G, and that is a typical example of where you can increase speed and efficiency, and you can immediately get into the knowledge that is built up by working with this new technology in the other markets.
So that when 4G comes to Estonia and probably also to Latvia and Lithuania, it will simply be extending the core network into these countries and then setting up the towers and all that.
Yeah, provided that we own the companies, of course. Otherwise, again, you can't do that.
Otherwise, they're on their own.
Yeah. I think is absolutely self-evident that will happen, because 4G is an extension of the existing mobile technology, basically offering higher speeds, and higher speed is something that this whole industry is built on. So I take that for given that it will be there as soon as it's possible. It looks good, and it looks as good as you can expect it to be. I mean, we said when we launched here before Christmas that we were very, very early out. It's a very early release of equipment that we have, but the major thing, the major obstacle for a quick take-up is not really the network. It's as always the modems, the handsets, the dongles, or whatever you call them. And so far we only have access to single mode modems, which means only 4G. So today when we are selling this 4G, we have to equip the customer also with the 3G modem, and that of course is a little bit hindering a quick take-off. But I hope that this will be changed during the first half of this year, or at least the summer, and then we can speed up, and we will also have higher volumes of modems, which basically is holding us back. Absolutely. Another question is, what is the future developing line? I mean, we are working close to Samsung, so we know about their thinking now. We know more or less when they are coming with dual mode modems, and later on also with modems that can roam and all that. But it's of course so that over time you need to have more vendors on the market, and we hope that we can push for that in Barcelona. Well, I mean, I think you have two basically development tracks that you can look at. One is what we are talking about now, the high speeds in the network, and I mean, high speeds in a telecom network has always been a necessity to boost usage. And now when you see that more and more are going towards different type of TV, play on demand, look at demand, all that stuff, then you need those higher bandwidths. You see music streaming out, Spotify or other solutions. So there is a basic demand for higher and higher bandwidth, and besides of that also the vendors who are producing the laptops are also good to put in different type of software that needs more and more capacity. So following that track, I don't really think that we will see maybe any major new killer apps, but the possibility with those speeds as such combined with the increasing use of laptops, or now if this new Apple iPad will be a success, that will boost new applications that are built on the fact that you are not on your home or in a specific location. And I don't think that we really can imagine all the possibilities that this gives us today. So I would say that the concept of not being dependent on location is rather, it's a killing application as such. For me, that is obvious. For me, that is the way the telecom industry is going, and no one has been capable so far to resist higher bandwidth, so that will not happen.
Okay, so you're basically telling Steve what to do with the next iPad.
Yeah, go for speed. Speed up. The best one could hope for, in my position, is of course that we can get some sort of work going during this year with preparations and discussions, and maybe also discuss some terms and conditions. I don't think that it is possible for the government to conclude a deal before the election, but there are some months also after the election. So the ideal would of course be to have an ongoing process, and then I guess everything is dependent then on the outcome of that election. If the same government is continuing afterwards, then maybe there is a possibility. If there is a new one, then I guess that there is a review of everything. We don't really have a problem with the situation. I mean, we have a good position in both companies. We think we can do better if were allowed to step up in ownership, both for the companies and for the country. But I mean, it's not really. We don't need to hurry in this. So the problem is not really on our side, I think.
It's the other side.
Yeah, and I mean I can understand that. I mean, take the pricing issue, for example. If you go back now 1.5 years or something like that, there were prices circulating built on assumptions what the world looked like at that time. Today is a totally different world. And of course valuation of companies is also totally different. And it doesn't only go for Lattelecom and LMT. If you look at share prices for any company in the world and compare it today what it were 2 years ago or 1.5 years ago, and you will find that things has happened. And I understand that this is a political issue.